Hello, welcome to the City of Warrenville Finance and Personnel Committee of the Whole. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Can I have the roll call, please?
Alderman Ashour.
Here.
Alderman Berry.
Here.
Alderman Bevere.
Here.
Alderman Davalos.
Here.
Alderman Goodman.
Here.
Alderman Hoffman.
Here.
Alderman Widener.
Here.
Alderman Wilson.
Here.
Thank you. I'd like to have everyone who is able stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now is the time that we have set aside for citizens' comments. If anyone didn't know they needed to sign up, they can fill out a form and give it to the clerk, or you can make comments on agenda items as they come up during the course of the meeting. Let the clerk know if you want to speak. I don't have any citizens' comments yet. All right, let's move on to item E, officials and staff comments, starting with the mayor.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Two things tonight. One, this weekend, Troop 30 got to welcome 2 new Eagle Scouts, which I thought was about as nice as you can get for a weekend engagement. Tim and Bill Winfrey from Warrenville are both now Eagle Scouts. It's a scouting family, a great bunch of people. It was fun to be able to attend that ceremony, and congratulations to Tim and to Bill for that accomplishment. The other thing I wanted to bring up is that we did the PD did one of their regular tobacco compliance checks in town for all of the vendors that sell tobacco products. I'm proud to say that all 12 of them passed the check. None of them sold to minors. So thank you to our businesses for following our ordinances and for doing the right thing, actually. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mayor. Finance Director Dahlstrand.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. All of you this week, as elected officials, received a letter from Lauterbach and Amon, the city's accounting firm. It's part of the audit. In that letter was supposed to have been a questionnaire. You did not receive that in that envelope. You will be receiving another mailing from Lauterbach and Amon that will include a survey that you do need to complete.
Thank you. Yeah, I think several of us noticed that and were wondering, so thanks for clearing that up. Any comments or officials' questions from any of the aldermen? Alderman Berry.
I would just like to congratulate Mayor Brummel for his appointment as the DuPage Mayors and Managers President for the next year. He's greatly thought of by that group, and this is his second term. And there was a lovely dinner on Friday night, and he gave a great speech. So congratulations, Mayor Brummel.
Yes, congratulations to the mayor. I was at that dinner as well. I thought his speech was hilarious. He gave a lot of Yogi Berra quotes and kept us all very entertained. So thank you, Mayor, for that. Also, I attended on Thursday the Southwest District Planning meeting that was held at the Plan Commission, the special meeting, to discuss the future land use plan for the Southwest District. And that was a very informational presentation. For those of you who weren't able to attend, there's information on the city website. And take a look at the documents. If you have any questions, please contact any of us or the city staff with questions about that. It was really interesting to see how this land use plan has evolved over the process that we've gone through, considering different uses for different parts of the district. And it's going to be coming up to the council eventually, but hearing the public input was really very informative and valuable. So that's always nice to have. Any other officials or staff comments? All right, let's start the business of the meeting. Item 1, consideration of Environmental Advisory Commission fiscal year 2017 work programs. Deputy Clerk Morgan.
Thank you and good evening. In 2015, the City Council adopted their second strategic plan, and one of the goals was fiscal conservatism. One of the objectives under that goal was to annually require that boards and commissions develop a work plan to identify the required resources that they need for the upcoming year. This evening, we are presenting 6 work plans that were developed with input from myself, from EAC commissioners, and with the input from Council Liaison Alderman Davalos. And at this time, I am available to answer any questions from the committee, and EAC Chair Sarah Anderson is present this evening as well to assist with questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And are there any comments or questions? Yes, Alderman Widener.
Yeah, I agree with all these initiatives, and would like to thank all the volunteers from the Environmental Advisory Commission for what they've prepared and what they carry out each year on behalf of the city of Warrenville. And with that, I move and recommend the City Council approve the 6th fiscal year 2017 work plan submitted by the Environmental Advisory Council, or Commission.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Widener, a second by Alderman Wilson. Any discussion? Yes, Alderman Davalos.
Yes, I would just like to give a big thank you to the whole Environmental Advisory Commission and everybody that has served on there. This was quite a process to come up with just 6. This is a very active commission. They have lots of good ideas. They went through a very thoughtful process, knowing that city staff is often involved in what they do and would be involved in a lot of things. So they tried to be cognizant and sensitive to that so that we did not overburden the staff. That's difficult when you have projects that you are passionate about, but I was very proud as I watched this group go through their discernment that they really thought about it, and I think they made good choices for the top 6 that they'll be concentrating on next year. So it was, I just enjoyed the process and was proud of the team. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Alderman Davalos. And now the mayor.
I just want to take the opportunity to thank Sarah Anderson for stepping up to be our new chair of this commission enthusiastically, and I wish her well in the coming year. So thank you, Sarah.
Yes, my own comment is that I was very impressed with how much bang for the buck we're getting out of these programs. I mean, that was really the thing that struck me about looking at the actual dollar figures and the budgetary amounts. You know, because this is a very low dollar figure for quite a lot of work, and that's really thanks to our volunteers and how much of their time and effort and energy goes into this. I mean, our staff puts in, of course, time as well, but still, it's just an impressive list of items. All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much for coming. Moving on to item 2, consideration of staff recommendation to develop and submit 2016 ITEP and STP grant funding applications for Phase 1 of the Prairie Path Trailhead Concept Plan. Community Development Director Menzer.
Thank you and good evening. Last Monday, the City Council accepted the Community Development Committee's recommendation and authorized staff to work forward and define a plan for advancing the final design and construction of the Prairie Path Trailhead Improvement Project. At the same time, the Council endorsed the proposed conceptual plan for that improvement project. We were fortunate enough to become aware of the fact that both the Surface Transportation Program and the Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program have just opened up their 2016 grant cycle. This proposed trailhead improvement project is a very good fit for both of those grant opportunities. The city has had success in securing substantial grants in both of those grant programs in the past, and we believe that the city could develop and submit a very competitive application for this project in the 2016 grant cycle for each of those programs. What we're asking for tonight is authorization from the City Council to move forward and prepare those grant applications. There would be a small cost, up to $1,500 for some cost estimate, maybe some supporting exhibits. The bulk of the effort would be taken care of by current city staff. We're estimating that collectively for both grant applications, we could invest up to 40 hours of staff time. It is important to recognize that the preparation of these grant applications is not something that was included in the Community Development Department's work program for this fiscal year. We have made an effort to make sure that the council's aware of what we're going to try to be working on this year and where we're going to be allocating the city staff resources. So it is important to recognize that this would be an addition to that program. Given the significant cost of the proposed project and the good opportunity and fit that these programs represent, we are recommending that we could move forward with these. And it's our opinion that moving forward and spending time on these grant applications would not have a negative impact on our ability to achieve the other higher priority or high priority initiatives that are included in the grant program.
Thank you.
Improve grant
In the
program.
work
The
program.
work program. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what you meant. Thank you, Director Menser. Yes, Alderman Hoffman.
Would these grants also be available if that facility was going to be built down by Sesquicentennial Park or over here on the Musselman property?
They could be. Yeah.
Thank you.
Alderman Davalos.
Thank you. This is a very exciting project to me because, once again, as I've been here for a while, we never stand alone. The things that we're most successful with, we don't just stand alone as our town. This one in particular is a consortium of so many other groups. We've already had a donation offered from the Prairie Path Commission. We're talking about Forest Preserve. We're talking about county. We're talking about Park District, and many more. The list that we talked about last time is there. And so I get more and more excited about this, I guess, because I begin to realize that has to make us a good candidate for some of these grants when we're coming together with other public bodies and taxing districts and whatever to accomplish this goal. And it feeds into the bicycle and pedestrian part of our community that's so important. So I just am excited about these grants, and so I certainly will be in favor of this.
Thank you. Any other questions? Alderman Berry.
I'm very happy that we're going to have the Hitchcock Design Group involved in this because they were very instrumental in us getting the over $900,000 grant that we received to enhance Butterfield Road, Route 56 streetscape work group that worked together. And so many of those things we haven't seen yet, some things we have, but that's something that we've gotten together with Ron, the Route 56 streetscape work group, and we've gotten together and looked at, and we're going to be presenting something in the future. So once you see everything that we will get for our $900,000, it'll be pretty impressive. And I think with Hitchcock behind us on this, we should have a much better opportunity of being able to get one of these grants.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions? Alderman Widener.
Yeah, comes as no surprise to most of you that I'm very much in favor of this. Warrenville is becoming a very active and healthy community as a result of the trails and the plans that we've made to get people outdoors and enjoying the scenic surroundings that that are part of our community and surround our community. I think this will be a great gathering area for people to socialize. It's important as far as our strategic plan goes and also our economic development. So I'm very much in favor of that. And with that, I make a motion to authorize staff to develop and submit a 2016 ITEP and STP funding applications for Phase 1 of the Prairie Path Trailhead Project.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Widener, a second by Alderman Wilson. Comments, starting with the mayor.
I just wanted to thank Community Development Director Menser for, again, keeping his eye peeled for outside sources for funding for the good things that happen in our community. This is the umpteenth time that Ron has done this for us, and I guess I've lost count of how many hundreds of thousands of dollars have come to our community because of his efforts. And I would like to recognize the fact that Ron is always on the lookout for funding that leverages good things to happen in Warrenville. So thank you, Ron.
You're welcome. I would say, though, the council's support to actually prepare the plans That's the guts that allow us to make competitive applications. We could make grant applications all day, but if we don't have the policy support, the documents, the partnerships, the processes that you endorse and help pay for, we would not be able to, in my opinion, make successful grant applications.
Alderman Wilson.
Well, I'd just like to turn that right around. It's easy for us as a council because of the work that the staff does to follow up on these opportunities for the grant applications. And what the job that you guys do, you people do, is just fantastic. It makes it relatively easy for me personally to sit up here and approve something like this, knowing full well that the full backing of the staff is right there to do this. So thank you again.
I do have one question, which has to do with the fact that this grant provides up to 80% of the funding. But if we do have other funding sources identified, like the $25,000 that's been mentioned, the city of Warrenville's share may end up being less than 20%. Is that correct?
The 20% would be the local share, so it would be up to the city to figure out how we can cobble together that 20%. It could be groups like the Prairie Path, or there may be opportunities a little further down the road to, in my opinion, appeal to the county for some additional help and financial assistance if we get to the point where we have a project that is attractive to them and has the opportunity to be funded in large part by outside funding. They might be more inclined to participate financially.
So this is a win-win all around, and we're talking about something great that could happen in our community and be, at very little expense to the city of Warrenville. That's wonderful. All right, I think we're ready for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Item number 3, consideration of recommendations from the Fund Balance Work Group. Finance Director Dahlstrand.
Thank you very much. Included in the backup tonight is a set of 3 recommendations made by the Fund Balance Work Group. These are not the only recommendations we anticipate this work group making. This is simply the first set. As a group, we've only met one time. We sort of got our feet under us and planned our direction as to the things we will be addressing as we move forward. The first recommendation is that we suspend the $200,000 transfer that was budgeted to be made from the hotel motel tax to the general fund. The general fund, as you're aware, has excess fund balance in it, and this would be a first step toward reducing that excess fund balance. The second recommendation is to make an additional transfer from the hotel motel tax fund of $100,000 to the police pension fund for fiscal 17. This is a 1-year recommendation that is not an ongoing additional transfer at this time. That would mean we'd put a total of an additional $350,000 into the police pension fund for fiscal 17 as we pay down our long-term obligations. The final recommendation was to allocate $50,000 in additional funding to the TAC grant program for fiscal 2018. The importance of recommending that now is it will allow TAC to include that in their next grant cycle, which begins here in late August or early September.
Yes, and I would like to point out, just to make this very clear, this is just the beginning of the work for the Fund Balance Work Group recommendations. We feel like this is the low-hanging fruit, and there's going to be a lot more discussion about some of the harder choices that we have to make down the road. But this was just our first meeting, and a few things that we thought we wanted to get into the 2017 budget and get out to TAC in time for them to work on the next cycle. So in terms of timing, these were the only quicker ones, and everything else is going to be continued to be discussed by the work group. Comments or questions? Alderman Davalos.
I had a question on recommendation 2, and it may just me that I'm not thinking this through. The last line in that about the projected fiscal year end 217 hotel motel tax balance, I would think it would be lower since we transferred 100,000 out, but I have a feeling I'm just not.
If you go back and look at number 1, number 1 means we would not transfer $200,000 out of the hotel motel tax fund. So the net effect of the 2 is that.
Okay, so the last line is for a combination of 1 and 2. Got it. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, it should have been a little clearer.
Thank you. No, it's good to clarify. Other questions or comments? I'd be happy to entertain a motion. Alderman Weidner.
I move to recommend to the City Council approval of the Fund Balance Work Group recommendations detailed in the May 6, 2016 memorandum from Finance Director Dahlstrom.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Weidner, second by Alderman Davalos. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, consideration of an agreement with Government Finance Officers Association, GFOA, for Enterprise Resource Planning Consultant Services. Finance Director Dahlstrand.
Thank you very much. As you might recall, during the fiscal 2016, the Finance Department, in conjunction with the Government Finance Officers Association as a consultant, we went through and analyzed all of our processes and the computer software that we currently use in-house to do all of our financial operations. The ultimate end of that was that GFOA recommended that we replace our current software package with an enterprise resource planning program that would be used across all departments and be able to tie in some of the standalone things we do now to make all of that work. The recommendation indicated that we may invest between $400,000 and $1.1 million on that replacement software package. Now, we do not currently have on staff the ability, the expertise, nor the time to conduct the next steps of this process. We need the assistance from GFOA to help analyze exactly what we need to replace what we have, and the largest end result will be a request for proposals that we would go out and seek out the exact software that we need to do what we need to do as a staff across all departments. We're looking for your approval to approve a decision package, which was included for this year, for a total of $83,925 for GFOA to assist us with what will likely be a year-long project as we develop an RFP and go out and look for a replacement system.
Thank you. And their contract would include not just putting together the RFP, but also assessing the actual bids that come in as a response to that and negotiating the contract with the winning bidder.
Correct, and they will also help us make sure that whoever we do choose begins their project the correct way and is meeting their contractual requirements.
All right, thank you. Comments or questions? Alderman Hoffman.
Yeah, I was just wondering on this, it says here, actual savings cannot be measured. Is this basically, we have a tool that's wearing out and we're just going to replace it with a new tool, and that's pretty much the whole expense of this?
The majority of the expense for this would be for the actual consultation work. The long-term, the reason that's written in there is we don't know what software package will end up with in the end. We don't know if we'll spend on the $400,000 end or the $1.1 million end. It'll be in that range, but I can't say right now for sure which one we'd end up with.
Okay, so basically this 83,000 is going to be, they're going to figure out exactly what we need.
Correct.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments? Alderman Weidner.
Yeah, this is a good idea to involve outside help in the selection process of something so important, and I move to recommend the City Council approve a proposal from the Government Finance Officers Association to provide consultative services to assist city staff with Phase 2 of the ERP project at a cost not to exceed $83,925.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Weidner, second by, let's say, Alderman Bevere. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5 is an informational update on administration, city clerk, and finance department decision packages. This is an informational only item. Administrator Coakley?
Yes, yeah, thank you. It is for information. We promised we'd give an update on all the decision packages, It not only includes the final report or the report on the current status of fiscal 2016 decision packages, but now also includes a second page with on the back of the fiscal year 2017 decision packages. So unless there's questions, this is informational. But we will be back at the next Finance Committee meeting in July with a new update and hopefully more progress on these.
All right, thank you. I think that concludes the business for the meeting. We only need one more motion. Alderman Widener.
I move to adjourn.
All those in favor? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.